So apparently I'm a narcissist now. And not an editor. I don't know why I'm wearing this. Other than my hair is too long. So it's been a while since I've done an unfinished projects video. I've had some project failures personally that I have or haven't decided to show, but this one in particular I decided, I think it's about time I talked about this one just because it has a lot to do with a short that I did put up. So despite generally liking the conceit for this short film, it didn't end up getting made because there was just too much going on at the time, and the thing that I made in its place ended up being, I think, better. But I guess despite that, I do kind of want to talk about what I wanted out of it originally. So the working title for the short was Peripheral, which I actually still really like. It was supposed to be about two peers from school that are just talking on the phone. Robbie was actually going to play the main character of the short, and I was going to play the other character that he was on the phone with. And actually, I shot a sort of quick visual mock-up of Robbie's side of the conversation. It was just me in that place explaining how this was supposed to work. And the reason why I shot this is because sometimes I like to send out certain ideas to friends, and so I could get some notes from them and stuff. So I actually have a little bit more on me explaining that when I did it. So here's that. For widescreen guy, I kind of want him to start out being this close when he calls his friend on the phone, and for us to know no information about him. And then as we're learning more about him, it'll even cut away and cut back to him, and it'll still be in the same angle. But I want it to cut away to him, and eventually when we start to learn more information from him, I want it to cut back to him, and then the frame will be slightly wider, and we can see more around him, and we can infer more from what we see around him. And that's kind of the whole point I want. Like, every time he reveals something about himself, the camera moves back even more, and we're able to see more. The first idea that I had for it was that it starts with him going on a run, and I wanted to cut to him like doing something and we can't see what he's doing, and then when he reveals that he's going out for a run, it'll cut to a wide angle where we could see that he's tying his shoes, and then we could clearly see what he's wearing at that point, where we can't really tell for sure up until that point. So the plan was to shoot Robbie's part in a more narrow aspect ratio, as opposed to shooting my part in a more standard wide aspect ratio. And I did actually shoot my part, which is just one long take that I would basically cut up and strew throughout. It's just basically my whole side of the conversation. And it is a complete wide angle, and it is just cluttered with different miscellaneous crap. My goal with Peripheral was to just, I guess, minorly challenge how we absorb visual information in stories. Because I think some people tend to hear visual information and they think that that is enough to tell us about a character. And it goes a long way for sure, but it also depends on how you use that. Now, this isn't like a new thing. There's a lot of things that have slow burns to revealing things, and that's how a lot of people tend to write, withhold information and then let the information go at certain points until you know everything you need to know. But the big selling point for me personally when I was making this was about how I was going to do that through the technology stuff, through the editing, and through the cinematography and stuff. I would say that using things like mise-en-scène, like the set, or, things around a character to kind of explain to you how a character acts and behaves, while useful, can still be bland if it's not utilized in a unique way. So that's why my side is shot the way that it is. It's like, yeah, there's all this stuff in the scene. You find out all this stuff about my character. Oh, he plays guitar, he's a college graduate, he's a gamer, maybe, I don't know. But I guess what I'm going for with that is that it's supposed to be excess. It doesn't actually really tell us anything about the character that moves the story along. It just kind of stays in one spot and is meant to tell us a lot about the character without actually saying very much. And what's more, the way that I had this originally planned was that there would be no cutting to new angles or perspectives on my end. It would cut to and from Robbie's side and my side, but whenever it would cut back to my side, it would just be the same angle the entire time. The back of my head, you don't even see my face the entire time. So on top of the fact that we already don't really know that much, there's really not much else to learn from my side because we're not being presented with any new information. We have all the information we're given, which isn't much, and then we don't learn anything else. But on Robbie's side, and the point of me wanting to do this in a more narrow aspect ratio was that the point I wanted to make was you don't have to fill up the frame. I wanted a lot of the stuff that I shot on Robbie's side to actually be very blank, very, blank walls throughout a lot of it. But as the cutting happened, we do see more of the room and we do see more of the space, and we are able to kind of orient ourselves and to learn more about him generally. So I basically just wanted to show through the editing and cinematography and all that stuff that we're able to do more than just give information, but also withhold information, which is exactly what my short film Cut ended up being, which also stars Robbie. It was basically more or less the replacement for this short, because they're both about pretty much the same thing, but I think Cut is way more simple in it, and it's more overt. I think it's like literally with each cut, we're revealing information, or we're withholding information. So yeah, that was the basic idea behind Peripheral. I still really like the idea generally. I love the aspect ratio thing. I don't usually get an opportunity to make stuff with that kind of technical form because not many story ideas really call for different aspect ratios in different scenes. So I was really happy that, I had written something that I would have potentially been able to do that with, but it just ended up not working out, which is, it's fine. As always, thanks to my patrons on Patreon. You guys are great. Yeah, I'd been meaning to make this video for a really long time, and I think now is the literal perfect time for it to be coming out, because my big December release that I mentioned in my last video actually has a lot to do with unfinished projects. So I think I've talked about that new video just enough times, so I'm gonna just shut up about it forever until it comes out. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a great week, and I will see you guys in December for the big December release. I did it again. Sorry.